Everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and today I wanted to share two funny little stories that relate to autism that happened to me this morning. First, for a little context, I brought my kids to a neighborhood park and I got to show you these trees behind me. I live in the Pacific Northwest and we have super tall, beautiful trees that just keep going and going. I love living here. And today the weather is just absolutely pristine. Anyway, so this morning I was laying in bed and I had finished a book that I was reading last night. I downloaded a new book and it is by Becky Chambers, and I opened it up my app and I was like flipping through. And at the very beginning of the story, it says, "Please read this." And that immediately triggered my PDA profile of autism. PDA stands for pathological demand avoidance, which is the medical term for it. A more affirming term for it is pervasive drive for autonomy, and that's a term that's often used in the autistic community. But basically what it does is trigger a fight or flight response in our bodies to any perceived demand on our body or mind or system. So as soon as the very first line of this book was, "Please read this," I immediately exited out of the book. And the thought that I told myself, I was thinking, oh, I just don't feel like reading right now. But then it hit me. I was planning on reading my book this morning. I was going to lay in bed and have a kind of a slow start, read this new book. It was because that felt like a demand that it was just automatic. It was like, nope, not going to read this because you just asked me to. And the interesting thing is, it wasn't like a "please read this" to the reader. It was actually how the story began. It was a "please read this," and then it was like a notice that the main character was reading in the book. Anyway, just thought that was really kind of a funny example of how PDA can really get in the way of our every single day life. Like, this was something that I wanted to do, and my brain, out of my control, perceived it as a threat. It's important to adults to talk about this because kids also have PDA autism. Not all autistic people have the PDA profile, but if they do, then when kids have it, it's often seen as temper tantrums. And it's not. It's our brain trying to keep us safe. So the other thing that happened this morning that I wanted to share really quick, that was pretty funny. Not funny. That is not, I don't know. I'm just really aware of everything going on at the park around me. And so my masked self is kind of coming out. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Milo, you want to pet him?
He's very yeah.
Good job, Quinn.
Okay, I had to move because where I was sitting was in the shade, and then all of a sudden the sun came through and it was too bright for my eyes. And I don't want to have my sunglasses on while I was filming. Anyway, it's so funny how I said it again, so funny. A lot of times when someone's trying to have a serious conversation, they start it off with, "Oh, it was so funny," but it's not. It's frustrating, and it's like the life that I live. So I was getting ready this morning and I get a phone call. Oh, how startling. No. And it was from a local number, and I immediately kind of froze because as an autistic person with ADHD, I don't like answering the phone if I don't know who it is. But it was a local number, and I also don't like having to return phone calls. And I have a couple outstanding phone calls, so I pretty much suspected it probably wasn't spam. It probably was something that I needed to deal with. So racing through my mind is the thought, do I answer this phone call or do I ignore it, let it go to voicemail? But then I have to deal with the fact of returning the phone call, which is like honestly almost just as difficult for me to muster up than to just go ahead and answer it. So of course this is all happening super fast because I know I have to answer it before they hang up or leave a voicemail. So I go ahead and answer the phone call, and it was my doctor's office wanting to reschedule an appointment. And immediately I was already frustrated because trying to find time for that appointment in the first place was already difficult. But I accidentally, because I'm still practicing, went into my masked self of make everybody else comfortable at the expense of myself. And so I'm trying to make sure the receptionist doesn't have to work hard or do her job. And when she suggested a new date for me to take, I just said, yeah, sure, I'll make it work. Instead of saying, hey, let me check my calendar and make sure that this will work for me too. My time is just as valuable as the doctor's time, right? But my masked self has always put everybody's comfort ahead of my own. So as soon as I got off the phone, I looked closer at my calendar, and sure enough, I had a conflict. And so then I'm left with, I either have to call them back, which was what I was trying to avoid in the first place, to reschedule to a different time, or call the person that now I had a conflict with to reschedule their time, which obviously they were first, but in this case, it just worked out easier to reschedule that appointment. It's my therapist. Okay, I had to reschedule my therapy appointment, and she's very understanding. And I told her all what happened. She's like, "No, it's fine. Reschedule with me." But it's just like this example of processing slow, not being able to, in that moment, handle all the things that I need to handle, feel like I can take up time and space to actually work on an appointment time that works for both of us. Because for one thing, like, I'd already set an appointment for this doctor. They are the ones asking for a reschedule. So honestly, it really should be at my convenience. Doctors don't really tend to think that way, but again, like if you saw my hierarchy video, the doctor is no more important than I am. They just have, different responsibility levels than I do. But in the moment, of course, I slipped back into my mask, just was kind of fawn response and just like, oh yeah, I'll make it work. It's fine. No trouble. And I'm just taking it as a learning experience. The more times that I do this with awareness, because before my diagnosis, I did these kinds of things and had no awareness of it. But now I have awareness of it. I see myself do the thing. Now I need to okay, next time this happens, these are the steps I'm going to take. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the beautiful scenery, and thanks for joining me out on the park, and I'll see y'all on the next video. This is Milo, my son's service dog. There's Ira, my son. Izzy's over on swings that I didn't get video, but we had such a good day at the park.